And the end of that was Hugh Jackman arriving to the premiere of It Ends With Us. So this is literally Justin Baldoni's premiere, and they put Justin Baldoni in the basement of his own premiere. He had to watch it from the basement. Look at him sitting on top at whatever theater this is. They're sitting on.
That image right there, a man banished to the basement of his own film premiere, is not a deleted scene from some indie drama. That happened, and it tells you everything you need to know about how power operates when the cameras aren't rolling. Imagine pouring years of your life into a movie about domestic violence, a deeply personal project meant to uplift survivors, and on the night it finally debuts, you are told you cannot even be in the same theater as your co-star. Not the balcony, not the back row, the basement, sitting next to a crate of Dasani water that is not even drinkable, while upstairs, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and Hugh Jackman take their VIP seats like royalty surveying conquered territory. That was Justin Baldoni's reward for casting Blake Lively in It Ends With Us. And if that visual makes your stomach turn, wait until you hear what they did to him in the months leading up to that moment. Because this story is not just a Hollywood feud. It is a blueprint for how the connected destroy the unconnected, and how the mask slipped in front of the entire world. Welcome back to Celebrity Newswikipedia. Before we unpack the receipts that blew this case wide open, take 1 second and hit that subscribe button. We don't just cover the drama, we expose what the headlines are hiding, and you are going to want your notifications on for what comes next. Rewind to early 2023. Justin Baldoni, known for Jane the Virgin and his outspoken advocacy around redefining masculinity, acquires the rights to Colleen Hoover's It Ends With Us. He is ecstatic. This is his passion project, a film about breaking cycles of abuse, and he wants everything to be perfect. He casts Blake Lively, believing her charm and massive platform will elevate the message.
Wanted the movie to be perfect, this like feminist movie about domestic violence, and he cast her because she thought she would be perfect. And I bet he has one solitary regret. If he has one solitary regret in his life, it is casting Blake Lively in this movie.
At that point, Blake Lively is Hollywood royalty. She is married to Ryan Reynolds, best friends with Taylor Swift, red carpet gold, a mother, a lifestyle brand, the woman who once said she wanted to use her voice to uplift women. On paper, the pairing looks like a slam dunk. But behind closed doors, something was curdling. And the first time the mask slipped was the moment Blake Lively allegedly decided that starring in the movie wasn't enough. She wanted to own it.
This was about power. This was quite literally about power, about people who are connected to A-listers and PR firms and have access to the government. Quite literally, she even brought in a PR crisis firm that had a former CIA agent, then like left the CIA and opened a PR crisis firm. I mean, she took this far. It was basically like, I'm big, you're small, we're best friends with Taylor Swift. We are at the level now.
According to court documents and text messages that later surfaced, she began a systematic campaign to seize creative control. She brought in her own editor to recut the film. She rewrote scenes. She made demands that extended far beyond any actor's contractual purview. And when Justin Baldoni, the actual director and rights holder, gently pushed back, that was when the gloves came off. Because what Justin didn't realize was that he wasn't just dealing with a dissatisfied actress. He was dealing with someone who, by her own apparent calculus, operated at a level where the rules simply did not apply. She had Ryan Reynolds on speed dial. She had Taylor Swift personally endorsing her edits by showing up at a meeting to praise Lively's version of a rooftop scene. She had a PR crisis firm with a former CIA agent on retainer.
Maybe with a little Me Too effort. I mean, I covered the Harvey Weinstein case. You can go back and watch that. That I think could have had something to do with publishing rights for sure. He had to end up selling his entire company. We can create a scandal and you will give me what you own, okay? And this case...
And Justin Baldoni was, in their eyes, small, disposable, someone who could be problematized into oblivion. Let that sink in. A man makes a feminist film, hands the female lead enormous creative input, and the response he gets is a coordinated takedown designed to strip him of his movie and his reputation? That is not a messy collaboration. That is a hostile takeover.
But it's actually not really a court case. I don't think she ever wanted to go that far. She didn't expect the public. Blake Lively did not expect the public to read the documents.
And when the takeover didn't work quietly, the nuclear option was deployed. In late 2024, Blake Lively filed a legal complaint in California alleging sexual harassment and a toxic work environment. The headlines detonated instantly. Major outlets ran wall-to-wall coverage painting Justin Baldoni as an abuser. The internet pounced. His character was assassinated in the court of public opinion before a single piece of evidence was examined.
And we started following the case, and Brian Friedman the lawyer did the greatest thing you could possibly do. When he filed his response, he created an entire website and allowed us to read it. And my jaw hit the floor. My jaw hit the floor at how unbelievably.
And for a moment, it looked like the playbook was working perfectly. But then something happened that Blake Lively and her team clearly did not anticipate. Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, made the extraordinary decision to release the evidence. Not just a carefully worded denial, an entire website with unredacted text messages, time-stamped behind-the-scenes footage, and internal communications that let the public read the case for themselves.
Okay, the entire Deadpool movie, which featured A-lister Hugh Jackman and her husband Ryan Reynolds, they just developed a character to make fun of Justin Baldoni. Nice Pool, which featured a scene where
And my jaw hit the floor, the same way yours will. Because what those documents revealed was not a story of harassment, it was a story of bullying, gaslighting, and an almost surgical campaign of humiliation. The mask slipped a second time, and this time it was caught in 4K. We saw the texts where Blake Lively referred to herself as a ballbuster while pressuring Baldoni. We saw the infamous Deadpool and Wolverine scenes. Let's just pause there, because this detail is so cartoonishly cruel, it almost doesn't feel real. Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively's husband, used his multi-billion-dollar Marvel franchise to mock the man his wife was actively suing. He created a character named Nice Pool, a male feminist podcast host who gets graphically and repeatedly murdered on screen.
more broadly speaking, the whole movie was just a catastrophe of jokes that nobody understood because he just wanted to torture Justin Baldoni. Even
her own words from the legal complaint began to crumble under cross-reference. Remember, a judge dismissed 10 of her 13 claims, stating the conduct alleged was not so far beyond what might reasonably be expected to take place between two characters.
It's wild. I love that it got community noted. I love that her statement got community noted, and they said Miss Lively is misleading the public and lying by omission with this trunk.
That is legal language for this is nowhere near what you claimed it was. Yet even after that devastating ruling, she released a statement calling the decision a win and asking the public not to be distracted by the digital soap opera.
Although Judge Lehman did not state Miss Lively was an independent contractor, and therefore she is not entitled under Title VII.
The sheer audacity of telling the internet to look away while the internet was already holding the receipts was the moment the mask slipped for the final time, and it may never go back on. The fallout was swift and merciless. Taylor Swift, whose name had been invoked as a silent weapon in meetings, quietly distanced herself.
For privately and professionally asking for a safe working environment for myself and others. I hope the court's decision shows others that as unfathomably painful.
The public noticed. Blake Lively, once the untouchable queen of the Met Gala and the girl next door with the fairy tale marriage, suddenly found her reputation in freefall. Brands went silent. Comment sections turned. The settlement that followed was not a draw. It was a retreat dressed up as a mutual resolution.
But she was completely delusional, high on power, high on Taylor Swift, and she lost both Taylor Swift and the...
Justin Baldoni walked away with his truth vindicated in the public square, his integrity restored by a mountain of evidence that no PR spin could bury. Blake Lively walked away having lost something far more valuable than a lawsuit. She lost Taylor Swift and her rep. And for someone who played the game of power believing connections were currency, that is the ultimate bankruptcy. So, here we are. Justin Baldoni has emerged not just as a survivor, but as proof that the old playbook is breaking down. The world is awake.
Sting looking for their next victim. And so this felt amazing to see that they have now settled the lawsuit. Of course, that's supposed to make everybody think they both won. This is not true. We all know Justin Baldoni won this lawsuit. He did. He won it in terms of PR. He would have won this.
We saw the beehive move as a unit, ready to sting, and we watched it scatter when the light hit them. The basement premiere, the Deadpool cruelty, the manufactured scandal, all of it laid bare for the public to judge. And the public judged correctly. Now, before you go, I need to hear from you. Do you think Blake Lively can ever genuinely rehabilitate her image after everything that came out? Or is this the kind of unmasking that permanently rewrites a celebrity's legacy? Drop your take in the comments below. I read them, and the conversations down there are as revealing as the videos themselves. If you made it to the end of this breakdown, you are exactly the kind of viewer who keeps this community sharp. Please like this video, share it with someone who still thinks this was a mutual settlement, and subscribe to Celebrity News Weepedia with notifications turned on so you never miss a deep dive into the biggest celebrity scandals unfolding in real time. Truth wins, and we will be here covering it when it does.